Banana Slam Jam.
Hey guys, sorry I muted myself. I'm back. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Got ourselves a BSJ replay analysis. Trying to catch up a little bit. Have about 5 or so backlogged. So if you guys are wondering where yours is, here we are. So we got ourselves a Phantom Lancer at 5.6k MMR. And he has said, hey BSJ, I went hood here because I was versus Necro and I thought if I could stay in lane longer if I had it, or I thought I could. Looking back, maybe I could have just went normal PL items and went jungle earlier, but I'm not sure. Sure, man, let's check it out. So if you're going to go an item that has the intent to stay in lane, I think that's fine. I think a lot of learning in Dota is gauging, how impactful it is for you to stay in lane. And also, if it's even possible, if you win hood and you got booted out of lane anyways, then fuck. Shouldn't have gone hood. Let's check it out. So far, so good on this Yesin. Okay. Nice. Wow, 4 to nice, Pog. So you got off to a really good start, and the opponent dragged creeps, and you used no regen. So you have 2 options right now that are reasonable. One, you drag these 4 creeps into these, which is going to make the lane completely normal, but on the left. Or you drag these creeps into these creeps back here. And what that's going to do is you have a normal lane here and a normal lane back here. So the reason why this is really important, I first started this with, if you had a really good start to the lane, you have 3 CS and 4 denies in the first creep wave. That means if you're in control of the lane, you're having a good lane, you want a normal lane. You want creeps that are meeting each other and just playing the lane normally. What you don't want is shit happening all over the place and 8 creeps on one side, 3 creeps on the other. And so I made an entire video recently on YouTube about, this was actually submitted before that when the opponent drags creeps or does something where the creeps separate, the video was specifically about creeps separating, but when the opponent does anything to manipulate creeps, you just have to balance it. You just have to mirror it. And in your case, you just took it under tower, so the enemy creeps are going to die, but your creeps are not going to die, which leads to, you having like 9 creeps. And now you're like CSing under tower in a lane where you are actually in control. And now you have 8 creeps. It's going to shove into their tower. You're a PL, so you can't really like dive super early or anything like that. You can't be aggressive anymore because there's so many allied creeps. Like, you can't miss CS. So now you've missed now like 4 CS simply because you have so many allied creeps that are killing things off. Missed another one.
Hello, this is Gabe Newell.
So everything that just happened here is what I told you, case in point. In control of the lane, look at what happened. Not in control of the lane, look at what happened. You have to gauge how many CS you got and how much damage you took. It's really that easy. So, that's how we come to the conclusions that we do about what you're supposed to do in lane. Having foresight at your level is the first step. You generally know what to do with the situation you got, but if you want to advance as like a mid 5k player, you need to start to have foresight of what certain situations lead to. And so the situation I laid out for you led to what we just saw, right? So personally, against Necro, I would go Wand. I think having the mana to fight back, but also just a little bit of stats for damage is better than the overall HP regen on PL. The only reason you need as much HP regen as you do is the fact that you fucked up the lane part that I've already mentioned. So I think you would have been able to get away with Wand and Raindrops, and then you could have just gone like Wraithband or just straight treads. I probably would have gone like Wand, Raindrops, an extra set of tangos or 2, and then just gone treads. I personally am not a fan of just rushing Hood anymore. I don't think it's a thing, not just on PL, but like on carries in general. Carries tend to be favoring stat items, whether that's components of treads or whether that's just, you know, wand or wraithband or something. So basically, you know, you're level 5 and you hit for 70 damage. So it just kind of feels like ass. And notice how the opponent's not afraid of you because you hit for 70 damage. So they spend the entire lane just hitting you, which is really annoying. I've noticed that if I'm not a threat to them, I end up taking more damage anyway. So, like, the sustain kind of, like, cancels itself out. Doesn't really help me. Give me a second, guys. I gotta go help Kali move some stuff in here. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So, yeah, I've noticed that when you balance being a threat to, like, having the right amount of sustain, then you end up taking a nice, like, medium of damage, right? So I'm not saying you're supposed to, like, kill this Necro, but if you have, you know, stat items and raindrops, maybe you can go on the Enchantress. And then the Enchantress isn't pelting you with spells, you know? So it's an example like that. Okay, so you try to go. But yeah, it's pretty rough. You also have an aggressive support, so you having no aggression potential is rough. And now you're stuck jungling with... And you go boots! Oh, no. Okay, good. Whew, saved. So, if you wanted to lane with the Hood, and then you find yourself jungling anyway, I wouldn't have gone Hood for sure. But hey, if you end up returning to lane, maybe this isn't actually all that bad. Okay. Yeah, okay, this is actually all that bad. I'd be okay with this. If Hood allows you to do this, I'd be okay with that. Only jungled 2 camps along the way.
Dominating, I guess.
So I like that you stopped interacting with the Necro. Okay, this was actually good. I like your decisions here. I don't mind the Hood, based on what you're doing with it. Swap lanes with your mid laner real quick. Oh, I would have taken that. Dude, you're right in the mid lane now. Oh, that Ocean Heart. Mwah, that'd be like 50 mana and 100 HP or something. That'd be nice. I would have kept that just because of where you ended up. But that's okay. Small little things. Got your treads.
Mega kill.
I also haven't really been going Hood on PL if it's to stay in lane. I more so go Hood on PL if I think I'll die while I'm farming. So I do it against, like, Skywrath Mage. I do it against Tiny. Maybe Puck. But, like, they don't actually have kill threat on you. They just have harass. So I probably wouldn't have gone Hood here for that reason. But, like, I can understand what you were going for. But now you're kind of just doing PL things with a Hood rather than, you know, Wraithband and a wand. Oh, wow, you're actually going to hit this tower with DD? I like that. I definitely would have doppeled upwards to create illusions and not be tanking tower, and then also save the catapult as long as possible. Got something itchy on my neck.
Killing spree.
Don't know why. So I think your farming patterns here are reasonable. You left bottom. Occupying mid. Perfectly fine way to play PL. Top tower already got taken. You don't need to go pressure that at all. So the Hood's allowing you to lane against the Underlord. I personally would argue that since you're not able to pressure this tower anyways, that the best way to deal with Underlord would probably just burn his mana. Which means to, you know, get the Diffusal as soon as possible. But the fact that you're, like, fully utilizing the regen of the Hood, I don't mind it. It's just worth considering that it wasn't the best option. Seems like you already did that in your submission. Okay. So because their lineup is really hard for you to walk into, like how often do you think you're gonna Phantom Rush into an Underlord Necro, in the middle of a fight? And also how scared of you are of dying. So how often you're gonna rush into the fight combined with how often you're gonna die means you max this skill, right? If you're not gonna go into the fight and you're not scared of dying, you max this skill. Right? It kind of makes sense with what the two skills do. So I don't like your skill build at all. I think PL you either go 4-1-4 or 1-4-4, because both skills, this skill is pretty much the best to max out. Like it has really good returns on the cooldown if you max it out. And if you don't max this skill out, it doesn't really help you have like a second point, right? So it's either 4-1-4 or 1-4-4. And I think you made the wrong choice here. I personally would have gone 4-1-4. Because I think you could have potentially participated in these fights, and you're not trying at all to participate. With the fact that you have this skill build, you definitely cannot participate. So this is an example of exceeding your hero's limits. I think the map part you're playing, if you're going to farm, is perfectly fine. And it's crucial to understand the difference between whether or not you're supposed to get the lane pushed into their tower, or whether or not you're actually supposed to, like, hit the tower. And on PL, you virtually never hit the tier 2 tower, unless your illusions are tanking for a catapult. It's just not efficient. Your hero clears your hero clears camps really fast, so that means every time you're hitting the tower, you're missing a lot. But then also, you don't do that much tower damage, so it's like, weighing the cost against. It's just like, if you see the enemy team pushing mid, the reason why I'm more inclined to help my team, if I think I'm capable of doing so on PL, is because I'm only going to farm if I don't help. So even though you didn't have Diffusal yet, if you watch my PL games, there's plenty of fights that I'll show up to if I have an item like Hood that delayed my Diffusal. And, I'll max out my first spell, and I'll throw in some lances, and it might be enough to get the kills. So yeah, I think the Hood was a mistake. So the way that this game should get played, once you're realizing it, is even with Hood, if you engage the opponent, you can't pressure them, and you aren't getting bursted. You're kind of just dying, like, over time. So what that means on PL, a very common interaction, is that you need to understand that your hero oftentimes does not outpush any hero with a magic AoE nuke, and the only way that your hero can do that is obviously by burning their mana. I've already mentioned it. So if you're having issues with heroes such as like Underlord, Darkseer, Necro, Leshrac, these are all heroes with like AoE magic damage that kills you faster than you kill them, Sand King, and that means you can't outpush these heroes. So you have to stop engaging them on the map. Just stop. And the only way for you to beat them in this game is to max your first spell, and when they show on lane, you lance them rather than engage them. So you have been continuously engaging opponents that you should not be engaging. That's really all there is to it. So this is something I've developed over a lot of time of playing PL, but I'm telling you the criteria for what you engage people with. If they outpush you, you don't engage them. So you need to start paying closer attention to your matchups on PL. It's a very important skill on PL. I mean, it's an important skill on a lot of heroes, but it's like one of the most defining skills of PL. So you definitely need to refine that drastically. You've just spent a lot of time getting shoved away by this Underlord, and all of this time could have been spent just hitting creeps. Then you wasted, 1,500 gold on an item that didn't let you farm more lane creeps. So what this means is you probably missed 700 to 800 gold worth of creeps by virtue of the time you spent fighting the Underlord. But then you also, have an extra 1,500 gold. So that's like Yasha plus 1, That's like Yasha plus half of the rest of your Manta, which is just a lot of delay of your timing. So the worst thing you can do at this point is try to fight. You've already lost all your outer tier towers. You've also died, so that means you're even further behind. And the opponent has like an amazing 5-man lineup. So your fight timing for this game is level 16 plus Shard. That's your fight timing for this game. So I would immediately give up on the Manta. This is a game where their only way to kill you is Underlord Atosing you. So straight up, just don't be bad. Just don't let him Atos you. You're not in a game where you can afford luxury. I would consider Manta a luxury item because it doesn't help you kill either of these two cores. They both don't really care about the extra illusions. So because of that, it's a luxury item. So I would go Shard into probably Scotty, something like that. I'd probably go Shard Scotty or Shard Aetherlens Scotty. Because the only way you're contributing to these fights is by lancing from a distance. That's just how it is. The Shard will also accelerate your farming.
Killing spree.
So this is definitely a skill that a lot of carries need to learn, is what a luxury item means and what core items mean. So the only time you need Manta on PL is that no matter what you do, you will die if you don't have the Dispel. Or if you're just having a really good game, obviously it accelerates your farm. But this is just you being crazy. I understand that you're trying to tank for a catapult, but dude, you're down by 8,000 net worth. I don't know if you realize you're down by 8,000 net worth, because the kill score looks pretty even. But I have to imagine you're not feeling good about this game. I just have to imagine, you know, I'm watching this game, maybe I'm a bit biased because I see this, but like the enemy team's grouping up constantly, I don't feel comfortable fighting them. That tells me I'm far behind, and you're like doppling into a tower to tank the catapult. These are all just really bad missteps. I don't really have much else to say other than you think you're way stronger than you are, so maybe this is something that will just get better with time. But your gauge of like your ability to bully people or your ability to do strong moves on the map is just very, very off with Phantom Lancer. I wouldn't know what it looks like on other heroes. I don't know if it's something that's Phantom Lancer unique, or maybe it's a problem for you in general. So yeah, you're definitely at a stage of the game where your items each need to change something. And I'll just tell you, you know, looking at this game, I hope you can understand what I'm saying. Manta does not change anything. Like, if you go Manta in this game, you're pretty much guaranteed to lose, in my opinion. You're spending 3,000 extra gold, or 2,600, to do literally nothing. So if you had gone Shard there, you guys might have had a chance, honestly. It wouldn't have been pretty, but it might have been a real shot. Yeah, so it looks like you're gonna finish your Manta. I mean, it's like, I hope you don't, but, you know, what can you do? Obviously, yeah, you're gonna finish it.
Killing spree.
And then you're going Heart. Yeah, I mean, Heart just... man, if you want to know what Peel's issues are when he's behind, it's not dying usually, it's being able to kill anybody. I'd say about 30% of the time, Peel's losing because he just dies. 70% of the time, he's losing because he can't kill anybody. So when you're losing as PL, you're going to solve one of those two issues. You're going to solve either that you're just getting bursted, if you're against like a Lesh or a Tiny, or you're against heroes that just don't die. And I feel like if you look at this enemy lineup, it's like super fucking obvious which one of those two it is. It's like so obvious, right? They have Underlord, Necro, Undying, Enchantress, like literally screams, you can't kill us. So going Heart is just even worse. It's literally buying into, like, I still will never kill you no matter how long I live. So we got our Shard after losing two lane, or I guess only one lane of Rax. Okay. This should be the only good fight for us all game, I would say. Looks like you're owning. You know, we wish we hadn't waited an extra 2,600 gold to get to this point. I think you're kind of seeing it here. For even how disastrous of a game it is, you actually killed the Necro. You honestly had decent impact in this fight. But too little, too late. And that's it. So yeah, I think there's a lot to learn from this game. Hope you learned something, buddy. Thanks for signing up.